Hello. Isn't my amaryllis pretty? I have to have lots of blooming things here so I don't get too bummed looking out over my dead garden. Honestly, like the real blue wintertime yuck doesn't really settle in for me until after Christmas. I love Christmas. We've got our tree set up, though not decorated. I thought we found a pretty good one. Good morning, Ash. I prefer Fraser firs. We ended up with a balsam fir this year, but it's pretty. I gotta put ribbon on it. I was gonna try to go get some burlap ribbon because I don't know what happened to the stuff that I had. I have lots of other ribbon, and usually what I do is I light the tree and then put all the ribbon on it and then let my kids do the ornaments. I feel like I haven't vlogged in forever. You know, Maya's done some vlogs and I've done other videos like for collaborations and stuff. So let's go check out the farm because there are some new things that you haven't seen yet.
I'll let you feed your goat. Hold on, let me get the big one first.
Oh, let's watch Jeremiah evade the goats. A little stampede. I hate this job. They knock me down sometimes. Oh yeah. Oh goodness.
Take it over there more. That's enough.
So there's a new girl in town. Look how little she is.
And push Darwin back.
Hey, my goat.
Okay, here. Look, take this and go dump it in that bowl.
I go.
Uh-oh, it's okay, it's okay.
You tripped, it's okay.
Pick it up.
Pick it up and dump the rest of it in the bowl.
Let's clean up what we can off the ground because we don't want them eating off the ground.
Good.
Hello.
Tell me how much better you're feeling.
I'm feeling good.
Good. Benny has been sick the last few days, hence me not doing much vlogging. Hey, don't chase her, okay? That scares her. Let's just sit in here and let her get comfortable with us. So this is our new little goatie. She's 3 months old, and as you can see, she is a tiny little thing because she's a Nigerian dwarf. I've actually... You got a chat? We keep goats for dairy. That's why we have them. We all drink their milk. We use it as cream in our coffee. We use it in place in cooking. We drink it, put it on our cereal. We make cheese out of it. We make yogurt out of it. When our goats are in milk, we do not purchase milk off of our farm. That's the only dairy that we use. The reason we chose goats over cows was just because we don't have a lot of space. We only have 4 acres here. We have since had a little bit of an expansion with having the house next door. That gives us another couple of acres. And we are currently looking at the possibility of leasing the property next to us. We think we've got that nailed down. It won't start until after rifle season because the man who owns that property hunts over there, so he didn't want any animals over there until after rifle season, and he's going to allow us to do some cross fencing, and therefore next year whenever hunting season comes around we'll be able to keep our animals on it. So that is going to open up the possibility of maybe getting a dairy cow, which we would like to do. I'll still keep goats though. Maybe at that point just not quite as many, because we do use goat milk as for all of our dairy needs. We keep specific breeds that are for milking. At this point we have a really good herd of Nubians and La Manchas, and we actually got a Saanen buck this year which we're breeding our Nubians to, looking to make a cross of Nubian and Saanen, which Saanens are known for high production. So we've kind of got our production herd down. With the goats that we have no problem keeping our family in milk. In come the Nigerian dwarfs. Now I've always loved Nigerian dwarfs. They're really cute. They're really sweet little goats. The kids when they're born are just teeny tiny, and because our goats are so big and kind of overwhelming, I thought it would be really fun to get a goat breed that the kids could really enjoy, that they could manage, and that they could handle. We may or may not milk them, I'm not really sure, and we're not looking to get just a whole lot of them, but I would like to get maybe like 4 does and 1 buck in order to breed those and just keep them on the farm. Enter Gretchen Weiners. Our friends over at VW Family Farms had Gretchen and actually worked out a trade for her, and she came to us, and they're going to be getting one of our does in the springtime. Kitten George just volunteered himself up as an example here. Now, Kitten George has a job on the farm. He kills mice, and honestly does a really good job of keeping pests away. Our cats sleep on our back porch. That's where we feed them, so that they'll hang around in that area, and that's also where we store all our feed, so that if the mice come and try to get in the feed, there are always cats hanging around it. So there's a job that these animals are doing. However, we could achieve the same job with putting a lot of mouse traps around the feed bins and not keeping cats. The reason why we keep the cats is because we like them. We enjoy having them around, and so many of you have enjoyed seeing like Kitten George's antics. Well, we enjoy those too. With my chickens, I keep breeds that lay colorful eggs. They don't taste any different. There's no nutritional value that's different, but it brings me joy. In my garden, I grow colorful heirloom varieties that are different things I wouldn't see in a store otherwise, because it brings me joy. I could just grow basic varieties across the board. I might even get more production wise, to be honest, if I was growing just plain old hybrids, because truly sometimes those produce better. Sometimes it's at the sacrifice of taste, but for me it would be at the sacrifice of enjoyment. And with the goats, whenever we already have a productive herd, why add some Nigerian dwarfs to the mix? I mean, truly, a lot of times you milk a Nigerian dwarf and you get like a cup of milk. You don't get very much at all. Whereas I can milk my Nubians and consistently get like a ½ gallon per milking. So it's kind of like, why would you do that? Because it brings me joy. Sometimes, especially whenever you're dealing with something where you're going to be working really hard at it, sometimes you have to acknowledge the fact that joy is a valuable thing. It's a motivator. And so doing things that really interest you and excite you, sometimes it's worth throwing a little bit of that in the mix so that it doesn't become drudgery to have to do all the work. That's also probably why I get so tickled at naming things. In spring, we'll get the rest of our herd. Regina, Caddy, and Karen, and eventually our buck, Glen Coco. Kitten George's winter fluff is looking pretty extra these days. Hey ladies. Nestle is really starting to get big. She's quite pregnant. Here are my La Mancha girlies. I have yet to be able to find a La Mancha buck to purchase in our area to breed my girls, which are getting kind of late now. I've thought about going ahead and breeding them to our small Nubian buck and just having mixed babies, because honestly they are my best milkers and I really want to get them back in milk. I was hoping, however, to find a good buck to breed them to so that if they had any does, I could keep them and possibly have more milkers like them. You're doing some good farming, Ben. Those duckies like that, don't they? Several of you have heard us discuss the high tunnel grant that we had applied for, that we were waiting to hear back on, and asked for more details. Now, that varies like by county and by state, but it is a USDA program, so it is all over the country. If you look up NRCS high tunnel grant, you can find all the information that you need to about it and figure out where to go in your particular county. Now, we had to go get a farm number, and then we had to go to like our ag office and go through the process. Now, I think they might be closed, like the application process for this year may be closed, but I don't know if they go by seasons or by years. That also may vary by county. So if that's something that you're interested in checking out, definitely Google NRCS high tunnel grant. But we did get a call back on Friday telling us that we were approved. So we're going to be getting a high tunnel, and they're also going to be covering some different irrigation and stuff like that. Our plan had been that this back here was going to become our Back to Eden garden all through here. And basically the high tunnel's changing that plan just a touch. Now it's 100 feet long, so it's quite large. And essentially from about this area here up 100 feet, it passes this Bradford pear tree about 15 feet onto the other side of this fence. So we have the pigs out here right now getting this area ready for a garden, and here before too long we will move their pens over so they can start working on another section. And we are going to go ahead and put wood chips down over where they've already tilled up. But what we're going to have to do to put the high tunnel in is take down this tree and also take down this fence. So this gate's going to come out, this fence is going to come out, and we're going to go ahead and build a buck pen back in this region. So there actually won't be any animals in this area once we start setting up for a garden. The pigs, after they're done doing their work here, are going to go out to this treed area. And so back here, we'll have the large high tunnel and some in-ground back to Eden garden here over on the other side. So it's still a really large growing expansion that we're really excited about. And all of that should be good to go before we're really planting everything in spring. And the window greenhouse will actually be up in this area, which that fence that connects into the garden will come down and all of this will be fenced in. So this will be the area where the window greenhouse is, and also we're going to kind of concentrate our composting efforts over into this area. For those of you who may have questions about like high tunnels versus greenhouses, like why are we getting like a 30 by 100 high tunnel and then still planning on building another greenhouse? The greenhouses are going to be pretty much for being heated in the winter, for starting plants that are really tender. And I'm not planning on trying to heat the high tunnel. It's basically going to be for season extension and growing things that are a little more hardy through the winter. But here in zone 7A, we're technically in zone 7B, but we live on a ridge, so I always say zone 7A because that's typically how things fall a little more. But here in a high tunnel, we'll be able to grow a lot of things, especially like lettuces and kale and cabbage and all kinds of those green things all winter with no issues whatsoever in a high tunnel. I'm even planning on trying to grow things like tomatoes, starting them a little bit earlier and just seeing. I still have a lot of research to do, a lot to learn. So if you have any great links of people who are using high tunnels like that, please leave them down below, let me know, because those will be something that I'll definitely be checking out this winter. We forgot to feed the quails. We just haven't gotten to them yet. We'll go check them out in a minute. There's Gary. This little kitten, Gary. Hey, Gary. Gary and Gail are learning the ropes. I've been noticing them exploring out in the garden a lot more. They're getting braver and checking things out. I didn't end up getting an exact count on the quail that hatched because the kids and Maya and I were emptying out the incubator, but it was something around 125 is what we ended up with. And the night they hatched, we actually took like 25 of them over to our friends at VW Family Farms, which left us with 100. And we did lose some right off the bat because the heater got unplugged. We didn't lose a lot, but we lost a handful. They have to be kept really warm when they're first hatched. A lot of people have asked us what we're planning on doing with the quail, and the reason why we got those is to raise them for eggs. That's really our primary purpose. And we're hoping to have like 35 hens when it's all said and done. Here's barista Jeremiah grinding the quail's food. Because they're so tiny, the crumble as it comes is just too big for them for the first couple weeks of their life, so you have to grind it so that they don't choke on it. Also, you'll see there's marbles in the waters. They've doubled in size now since they hatched, so the marbles may not be entirely necessary anymore, but we'll go ahead and leave them in there for a little while longer just to be safe, but that keeps them from getting in the water and drowning. Currently the quail are in this cage in our basement, and they will be until they're feathered out, since we did decide to embark on this new thing here in the winter when it's cold outside. After they are feathered out, we'll be keeping them. We have like a little walkout from our basement that's covered on 3 sides, and we'll be keeping their cages in there. And then eventually when we build a shop, which is kind of like on our little bit longer term plans, we'll keep them back in that area. But as for now, this is what we've got going.
They have to get out the other side so they can eat their...
It's okay. If they want to stay underneath the warmer, they can right now. Well, folks, that is a look around Roots and Refuge today on this chilly December morning. Lots of good stuff coming, huh?
Yeah, Jessica's back in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Take us on a journey.
I thought Jeremiah did a really good job vlogging, and he edited that video and put it up, and so that gave me a day off to lay on the couch with little Benny whenever he wasn't feeling very well. So he did awesome. I'm excited to see more vlogs from him and excited to show you guys all of the wonderful things that we have going. I've had a lot of people ask me, are you still gonna vlog in the winter? Because so much of what I share is garden based, and of course the garden's not doing a whole lot right now. And yes, we're absolutely gonna vlog through the winter because we're still doing a lot of things, making efforts to grow food, and because our winters aren't so mild, this is our main season to get our projects done. So we'll definitely be around sharing our daily life with you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I bless you. Until next time.